A rising chorus of prominent voices within the United States is advocating for withdrawing from both NATO and the United Nations, a drastic shift in foreign policy. This movement, gaining traction among key political and influential figures, reflects deepening frustration with America's international commitments and has reignited a heated national debate. Senator Mike Lee from Utah has been leading the charge. Earlier this year, he introduced the Defund Act, a bill aimed at severing U.S. ties with UN, which he called a platform for tyrants that undermines American interests. Over the weekend, he doubled down, stating that it's time to exit NATO, arguing that the alliance born in the Cold War era disproportionately burdens the U.S. while offering little in return. Lee's stance echoes a sentiment shared by Representative Thomas Massie from Kentucky, who recently labeled NATO a Cold War relic that needs to be relegated to a talking kiosk at the Smithsonian. Massey's critique highlights a belief among some conservatives that the alliance's purpose has faded in a post-Soviet world. Trump, who has not yet endorsed withdrawal in his current term, has repeatedly pushed NATO allies to boost defense spending to 5% of GDP, well above the current 2% target, which Canada isn't even meeting. During a tense exchange with Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky, he said that U.S. commitments to the alliance would be reconsidered if those demands aren't met. Adding even more weight to the conversation, Elon Musk jumped in by responding to a post on X that declared, "It's time to leave NATO and the UN," with a simple but powerful, "I agree." While only a response of 2 words, his endorsement has thrust the idea into the spotlight. Musk has previously argued that American taxpayers shoulder too much of NATO's costs, nearly 67% of its military budget, and that the UN's inefficiencies waste billions every year, which honestly is pretty hard to argue with. Now, critics warn that abandoning NATO would weaken global security, while a UN withdrawal could diminish America's diplomatic leverage. Supporters, however, see it as a chance to redirect resources homeward, aligning with Trump's America First ethos. So, if the US were to take this path, should Canada follow suit? And what would the Western world without NATO and the UN really look like?